Meet the next wave of world leaders.
Everyone deserves the right to lead a dignified life.
Fearless 20-somethings and even teenagers who are tackling our biggest global challenges.
What are you doing to shrink your environmental footprint?
It's still illegal to be gay in 77 out of 190 countries around the world.
They're connected.
And don't be afraid of no one listening, because people don't say no to good ideas.
They're committed.
Modern-day slavery exists only because we choose to ignore it.
And more than 1,000 of them have come together for a one-of-a-kind summit to make plans and take action for positive change.
I think there's just so much power in action, and rather just saying that, change.
Hear what these emerging leaders have to say and meet the heads of state, the celebrities, and the high-profile supporters who are on hand to help.
The world is not sustainable, it's too unstable, and it's too unequal.
Sometimes the torch is passed, and sometimes the next generation just decides to light a fire all its own. Who are these emerging young leaders? What do they care about? And what makes them different from previous generations?
They're the most knowledgeable generation of young people that we've ever seen. Because of technology, it's given them unlimited access to knowledge. This is the first time in history where it's the youngest people in the world who understand more about the biggest change that's happening in the world than anyone else. So it's the world's youngest adults who get the digital and social revolution and the power of it. They're the people who are driving and using this.
David Jones is the co-founder of One Young World, a London-based charity started in 2009. One Young World provides a platform for the millennial generation, and it connects and supports emerging leaders under the age of 30.
They're the most responsible generation we've ever seen. They see the world's problems, and not only do they see them, but they believe that they not only do they have to do something about them, but that they actually can.
The millennial generation faces unprecedented crises in the environment, in politics, and in global finances on the brink of collapse. They know they must improve education, create jobs, build more responsible businesses, and campaign for meaningful political policies to improve their own futures.
We as business leaders, as media leaders, heads of government, we were supposed to be addressing those systemic challenges, and we weren't. And yet every time you talk to a young person, those were the challenges that they want to talk about.
Once a year, One Young World holds a summit, bringing together more than 1,300 young leaders from 183 countries. It's the second largest gathering of young people in the world, right after the Olympics.
It just was this little idea that just made its own life. And every time I thought, oh, for God's sake, too hard, it just kept on going.
The summit's often compared to the World Economic Forum, an annual meeting in Switzerland that brings together business, political, and academic elite to shape a global agenda for change. The 2012 One Young World Summit is being held in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
We knew there would be no value in your usual type of conference where the great and the good, as they perceive themselves to be, stand on a stage, go blah, 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 and go out the back exit, and young people are sitting there engaged or not. So it all had to be about interaction. But if you think that it's the young people talking on the stage and making the big speeches, and then the great and the good just listening and introducing them, it's a humble position from these great leaders to say, I'm here, I'm listening to you.
Those great leaders doing the listening are from political arenas and the business sector, and they also include celebrities and activists.
So I think the reason that, the President Clintons, the Kofi Annans, the Bob Geldofs, the Jamie Olivers, the global CEOs of companies like Barclays, Unilever are here, is they see the power of these young people and they want to help them drive that change. I'd like to fast forward, and in 10 years, some of the leaders of, the biggest NGOs in the world, the biggest businesses in the world, some of the heads of government and state will have been people who came through One Young World, and it helps accelerate their development as young leaders and catalyze their belief in what they could achieve.
The One Young World organization commissioned a study asking millennials which global issues concerned them most, and they came up with this list. Throughout the summit and around the world, this next generation of global movers and shakers is taking charge and tackling problems, not just assuming leadership, but redefining it.
All world leaders inherit a moment in history. The one we've inherited leaves no time for debate, just time for action.